Courtney. I'm Dr. Leah.
This is Dr. Sylvia.
And we are
Three Friends Talk. It's Wednesday night. That's what we're doing. Catch my vibe.
That's all I got.
One more time. Hold on. Wait for it. Here we go. La 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 la.
Oh.
I was ready.
Hey, friends.
Hello. Oh, that
It's
came out
Wednesday
weird.
night. Say that.
Let me do it one more time.
Yodel?
One more again.
Hey, friends.
Hello, friends.
Hey, friends.
Welcome back to
We
another
are back
episode.
with another episode of Three Friends Talk. Yay.
Come on in the room, y'all. We want to
Come on in.
The upper room. No,
the upper room. We're going to glory.
What it reminds
I was
me
about
of.
to say,
The
we done went
upper
from one
room.
realm to the other. Already. Hello, friends. We are back with Dr. Courtney, Dr. Leah, and Dr. Sylvia.
Hey.
How you ladies doing tonight?
You know.
I'm doing well.
Great. How's your week going?
It's been interesting so far. Lots of stuff happened yesterday.
I would agree.
Right?
I would agree. Yes. We'll get into that in just a second. Dr. Sylvia, how are you doing this week?
Blessed and highly favored.
Okay, we're gonna keep it. Oh,
I almost lost my setup.
yeah. I'm gonna let you get it together.
Okay. Dr. Leah took out my funding.
Okay. I don't recall.
Okay.
But yeah, we're gonna get it together.
All right, I'm back.
Wonderful. So let's get into this girl talk. Dr. Courtney, you said that a lot's going on this week. What happened yesterday?
So if everyone has been tuning in, so there was the verdict that was announced on the trial yesterday that everyone was watching. Derek Chauvin's case, he was found guilty on all
Guilty.
Absolutely.
And guilty.
So it's almost like, it's really a step in the right direction, but we have a long journey to go still. So
how did you feel? Were you excited? Were you shocked? Were you
I think I was expecting the worst. And I mean, that speaks volumes in itself that, I think that to be disappointed over and over again for verdicts called in the past for, unfortunate situations where there have been police that have, killed Black people. So I was happy about this verdict, but again, it did not solve all of our problems. So it was a lot of mixed feelings. I will say I was really happy to see our Xavier alum on the team, Chris Stewart. So shout out to him for all the hard work.
Esquire.
I tell you, he's my lawyer. So
it's wonderful.
Dr. Leah.
Dr. Sylvia said, does he know that he's your lawyer?
Of course he does.
Okay, Dr.
Well, when I need him, I got the number. So that's all.
Dr. Sylvia, what do you have to say about the outcome of yesterday's verdict?
It's
a long pause.
I
think I'm like, you blow into the balloon and then you pinch it, thinking that, the air's not coming out, but the air has been coming out slowly. So there's not a big burst of excitement, celebration. I just think I'm a little numb, and I hate to be that way.
That speaks volumes. It's like we shouldn't be,
right?
We shouldn't be used to.
Yeah, almost. I would say that I was surprised, and I don't even want to say the word excited.
Were you a little relieved?
I guess a little relief, but I can't seek or I can't feel excitement out of someone's untimely death at the hands of someone else, and it
They're
was
supposed
not
to protect us.
justifiable.
Mm-hmm.
And then to follow up an hour later in
Oh, with another.
Ohio
Mm-hmm.
with a teenager being shot on sight.
It was 4 times in the chest.
And I don't know. I actually did not watch the video until probably an hour or so ago, because and I only watched it just so that we could discuss it tonight. I did not want to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, you see the Facebook comments, oh, she was going to attack the next person, and it's justifiable. And I look at the case of the young man last week. Here we go, last week.
Mm-hmm.
And this young man is shot, and the officer claims that they had a taser. Like, this is the moment you should have had a taser.
She thought she had
A
one.
lot of different things.
No,
could
I'm
have
talking
happened.
about yesterday with
Oh,
this
yeah,
teenager. This is the moment that you should have had
There are a lot of
taser.
things that could have been done differently.
And
Absolutely.
I know I'm not versed in the law, and I've never wanted to be, and I don't want to step in the shoes of a police officer. I definitely understand that they can feel threatened, but there's some situations that I feel there could have been a different outcome. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get off of that right now, because I'm getting really warm.
Okay.
Talking about it.
Yeah, I think as much as we have talked about it already, just to let you all know, we are definitely still on the journey to continue to see this Black Lives Matter movement continue, and to see if there's going to be some police reform, and continue the fight. So I think we should bring on some experts in this arena as well. I think that'd be great. You guys let us know if you want to talk about it with Three Friends Talk. So I want to switch over to a lighter subject, though. So
Let's say hello to some of our friends tonight. We have Erica saying, hey, it's great to see y'all on Facebook.
And
hi,
hey,
Erica.
Hey, Dr. Erica. Thanks for tuning in.
And we have our good
Deanna
friend Deanna. Hey, D, what's going on, lady?
So I think this will be fun for them to listen to, because yesterday was 420.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know what 420 stands for? Or is it important date for?
April 20th.
Yes. And what? Anybody? No? Okay, well, I have a super friend that's going to be joining us tonight to help us, because clearly I don't know. I know it's the
Dr. Sylvia.
That's what it is.
She left us for a minute. But I know it's 420, and I want to find out more about that. So there was a versus last night. Did that have something to do with it?
Yes, and that's why you saw the song that I played. Well, you heard the song that I played earlier. Mm-hmm. So there was a Redman versus Method Man versus last night. Did you watch it?
I caught a couple, glimpses of it.
I watched the whole thing.
Look at Todd.
I watched the whole thing.
Todd talking about some World War IV.
Can we get back on Redman? Oh, hey, Todd. I'm sorry.
What is Todd? Todd, what you talking about?
He said 420. Hells yeah. Oh, God. So look, I didn't realize they had Redman and Method Man for maybe a reason, because 420 maybe
went over your head.
Them. They catch them, either on a movie back in the day, or talking about it, rapping about it, talking about some weed. So I know that I watched because Method Man, looks pretty good for his age, wouldn't you say?
Hey, Dr. Sylvia.
Why are you ignoring my comment?
Oh, Method Man.
I know you heard me.
Girl. Fine. You heard me?
Well, I'm just
That man
saying.
look good. How old is
I
he?
I enjoy his acting.
Shut up, Sylvia. No, you don't.
You couldn't even be nice.
Yeah, we about to get real three friend talk in here tonight.
We finna slip right out, slip those titles right off.
Okay, did you see the second outfit he had on? So they had an outfit change and everything during the break, and he came back out there with like the black pants with like the yellow stripe on the outside and the inside of the legs, and he was walking around. He was kind of fine. So
Are you describing his pants?
She noticed every single detail.
Never mind.
Let me take a sip
Never
of my
mind.
wine.
So
I thought Redman was wearing a cape.
don't nobody know what Redman was doing.
Did nobody even look at him?
Man. Nobody paying attention to him.
All we saw was Method Man.
Did you see all on social media was like Method Man, Method Man, Method Man? I was like, what the?
Actually, the post I saw showed Redman in a cape and goggles.
Get off. Mine.
What are you saying?
I'm saying mine. Okay, so clearly you haven't watched Finding Nemo because we said.
Okay. Is it time for a coffee break?
4 men met at 420 to meet up at
my bad.
school,
Hold on.
and then it became a national holiday.
Hey, Todd. Thanks for.
We're gonna verify that. We're gonna verify that, Todd. I do my research on that.
Okay. I was not ready. Clearly, our funding came in. I was not ready for. Play it again, Dr. Courtney. Play it again. Oh.
If you don't get to it, Sylvia.
It's in stereo.
What does that mean? What does that buzzer mean?
Time for a coffee break. Break.
She changed up the ditty again. I thought it was a little faster than that.
Break. This is my solo segment, so I can do it how I want. Okay. So it's time for a coffee break. We are shouting out another one of our super friends, Dr. Jared. She bought us.
Dr. Jared.
Dr. Jared. Yeah.
She bought us 10 coffees and she said, "Keep shining, docs."
Ooh, she want me to stay up all night with all this coffee.
Okay.
Kept me awake.
So if you're
Many a
loving
day.
this content and want to support the show, you can go to Buy Me a Coffee and .com/3 friends talk and support the show and let us know what else you want us to bring on the show. Okay.
Yes. So speaking of 420, again, you all did not know what 420 was significant for.
Well, Todd knew.
Todd is trying to tell us.
I know, and that I'm happy Todd is with us tonight because along with Todd, I have a super friend for everyone that's going to teach us a little more about why 420 is so significant and what she is doing for the industry. So, are you all ready?
Know
about the super friend for tonight.
I want to know. I wonder
if she liked my song.
No comment. Okay, let me be quiet.
I'm gonna ask her.
Okay, please do. So I want to talk about someone very just a great all-around person. We know her because she's also Xavier alum, and I'll tell you why she's special and near and dear to my heart. But she is a board-certified emergency medicine physician. While practicing in hospitals and emergency medical facilities, she realized that the U.S. healthcare system didn't do enough, in her perspective, for mental, physical, and spiritual aspects of the whole person. So it led her to explore natural health remedies and original health practices as a tool to fill the gap. So although she really worked to bring wellness to all people, she's especially passionate about bringing health and wellness to the Black community because of all the health disparities she has witnessed in her community. So she founded an organization called 40 Acres and a Dispensary. That's kind of catchy.
I like it.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, we got it. 40 Acres and a Dispensary.
She wants you to continue.
An organization that educates the Black community on the vast opportunities in the cannabis industry.
Yes.
And so she has also co-founded Indica Indica PhD, an organization that provides cannabis health education to the Black community. She's a board member and the secretary of the Association for Cannabis Health, Equity, and Medicine, a professional organization for BIPOC healthcare professionals and students active or interested in cannabinoid medicine and health equity, as well as a coalition member for Cannabis Health Equity Movement and the
Cannabis Coalition.
co-creator of I Am Defining Me. I mean, anything and everything cannabis she is involved in. So this is the expert to talk to. Along with her cannabis industry education and cannabis health education work, she actively advocates for equitable cannabis legislation within the organizations like Minorities for Medical Marijuana and ACHEM. So I hope I said all of that right. Why are you smiling, Sylvia Johnson?
No, I'm just really excited because last week, shout out to
Dr.
Mo City
Justin.
Apothecary. He brought the pharmacist perspective, and so now we're getting a physician view. So I'm excited about that, and it's right after it's 420 part 2. So
exactly. So we're keeping that spirit of 420 yesterday. I would like to introduce to the Three Friends Talk stage none other than Dr. Kaya.
Woo!
Welcome, Dr. Kaya.
Hey, ladies.
Hey, friend. Thank you for being our fourth friend tonight.
Yes, thank you for the invites. I've tuned in and enjoyed being your friend from the outside, so now I can be your friend from the inside today.
That's right.
Always a friend from the inside.
Yes, thank you for joining. So if you guys didn't know, Dr. Kaya is also my sorority sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, not just any sorority sister, but my line sister. So I love her dearly. And I'm just really excited about her journey. But before I let
did you like my song?
The other friends ask about your journey.
I don't think that's why Dr. Courtney paused. I don't think she paused to see.
No, then we should pause so our guests can answer.
Go ahead, Dr. Kaya.
Oh, sure. I'd like to hear you sing it again.
No, that was not Dr. Kaya.
She was being
that
nice.
Was super shady.
She was being nice. You're so sweet.
Shady. That was shady.
But before we get into your background, you know I have to play a game with you, right?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Yay.
So the game is called This or That. If you've heard before, I usually play a game with our guests where I give at least 2 options and you pick this one or that one. And the more questions we can fit in 30 seconds, the more answers, the more content for our listeners to get to know you a little bit better.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Because you got to take the white coat off.
Take what off?
The white coat. We let our hair down.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So we're gonna have fun with it.
You ain't gotta take nothing else off tonight. This is the evening show. This is not the after show.
You know, we got COVID bodies right now.
Hey,
I do not speak for yourself.
I'm there for you. I'm there with you.
I'm right there too.
Terrible. Just terrible. Okay. That's another segment. That's another talk. But we will put 30 seconds on the clock. You ready, Dr. Leah? Timekeeper?
I am ready. Are you ready?
I'm always ready. You don't have to give me that look. Don't mind them, Dr. Kaya. Okay, so on the when I say go, hit the button and go. iPhone or Droid?
Droid.
Heels or sneakers?
Sneakers.
Okay, staycation or vacation?
Vacation.
Back rubs or foot massages?
Foot massages.
Okay, cardio or yoga?
Reflexology.
Who?
I said reflexology. You said cardio or what?
Hold on.
Roll.
I'm pausing because see y'all like to talk.
She said
reflexology.
We got it.
What?
Did my question throw y'all off? Y'all like
no. Nobody was thrown off.
Okay.
Nobody was thrown off.
Okay.
That's not what happened.
You ready? I'm ready, Leah. Go. Chocolate or caramel?
Caramel.
Online or in person?
In person.
IG or Facebook?
Facebook.
Rich friend or loyal friend?
Loyal friend.
Love or money?
Love.
You're so sweet. Okay, last but not least, I hit a buzzer. I got one more question. Turn it off, Leah.
Don't be rushing me to turn off my bubble because you done beat it.
Okay, last question. I get to ask: coffee, wine, or Hennessy? Which one you drink?
Wine.
I don't know if I believe that.
That was a coat on answer. That was a white coat on answer.
Did she tell me to sip my? Did she tell me to sip my wine?
Wait.
Okay, so when they say wine, that means I get to sip my wine, right?
You can.
Okay.
You know what?
It's your show.
That's what I heard.
Thank you.
Okay, so thanks for playing. See, I told you I wasn't gonna bite, but I think y'all like that. I'm gonna fit more questions in, like the back rubs and foot massages. I like back rubs personally.
You like back rubs? Why do
What
you like
Dr. Sylvia?
I like back rubs as well.
Yeah, I prefer back rubs as well.
Okay, everybody like back rubs.
What did you think, Dr. Leah? What was yours?
But I know the feet, it massages your whole body.
If you do it right. If you do it right.
Never mind.
The feet massages your whole body.
That's not exactly what I meant to say. Help me out, Dr. Kaya.
You know what? We're going to start. We're going to start writing these down.
Right. Dr. Sylvia is right. When I first experienced reflexology, which is a little different than a foot massage, you touch pressure points at the right point. And you actually have benefits to other parts of your body. And when they told me, I said, okay, whatever. Give me your nice little foot rub. And they asked me,
point, and you went to the moon.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. Concentrated on the middle of my feet, and I felt like the tingling in my belly and around my lower back. And it was like a nice little relaxation. And
what facility was this?
What you say?
What facility was this? What reflex?
Actually at La Cantera.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Antonio, that's where I first had reflexology. It was amazing.
Reflexology.
Yeah.
Who knew that would lead to this topic? But okay. So let's divert a little bit from that because we can talk about that all night.
Okay, Dr. Leah, put up Todd's answer because I want to see
what
the real answer is.
So yesterday, Dr. Kaya, we were talking about 420 yesterday, right? And we wanted
I'm gonna let her answer
you
first.
Teach us.
Yeah.
Why is 420 significant, or why is that the holiday that they call the weed holiday? Why that date?
Yes, and I saw his answer, and he is right.
That's it.
I don't know if the story has been completely confirmed, but the story is there was a group of teenagers and they used to meet up at 420 after school and after their athletic practice, and they would smoke, and then they would go to this area where they were looking for this weed plant that was supposedly planted by a member of the U.S. Coast Guard. And then they would smoke while they were there, and then they would come back. And apparently they never actually found the plant, but they would go on these adventures. And then they started to use the terminology 420 whenever they were referring to them actually smoking weed or something dealing with the plant. And they wanted to have a language that their parents didn't understand, their teachers didn't understand. So they would use that terminology. And apparently one of the teenagers was connected to the Grateful Dead. So they actually popularized the term. So that's the story. How true it is, I don't know for sure, but that's the story.
So Todd actually commented that they were called the Waldos when you were talking about finding
Where's
playing,
Waldo?
and
Oh
that's
my
where
God.
Finding Waldo.
Where's
Where's
Waldo?
Waldo?
Yeah, it's hard to find. They
Why is
never
that?
found it.
So where's Waldo had that look of the little glasses with the hat and the red and white sweater? Did they wear
He
stuff
so
like
look
that
good
too?
and high. Mm-hmm.
He did not look good and high. That is
He
not
do
true.
look good and high
No, he does not.
You go back and
He
look them
looks
little books
he
now.
looks lost. That's what he looks. Lost.
and high.
Oh, clearly somebody's
Because he high.
Okay, yeah.
He lost because he high.
Anyway, Dr. Kaya, thank you for educating us about the origins, and thank you, Todd, from the Pharmacy Podcast Network, for breaking it down in the comments. So I want to get a little bit into your background. So we know you attended the Xavier University and went on to become an emergency room physician. And now you're the founder of 40 Acres and a Dispensary. So tell me about that journey. It seems fun and varied. So I just want to hear all about it.
Yeah, definitely. So for some reason, as a kid, I mean, being a doctor just stuck in my head for some reason. So I went ahead and did it. So, and of course, if you want to be a doctor, why would you not go to the Xavier University?
Hello.
So,
There you
hey. So I did, just like, you lovely ladies, because, that's what smart human beings do. Yeah. So actually my journey through, medical school and residency was great. I mean, of course, hard work, and I did it, and I love taking care of patients. When I actually got into the real practice of medicine, though, it was the business side that bothered me, not because I don't like business, not because I don't like making money, but when I have people's lives in my hands, I don't want to put that money over their lives. I don't want to neglect quality of care because the hospital system I'm working for is more concerned about money. So that became a problem in some situations. I'm a pretty thorough person, and I like to, make sure I can take care of my patients pretty thoroughly. And sometimes I would come on to my shifts and I would take over from docs who actually would sometimes miss things that were critical, or sometimes not explain things well to patients. And sometimes I was able to actually find things that they didn't find, and patients were grateful, and I enjoyed really taking care of patients. But it was, hey, Dr. Ledbetter, that was great. You did a good job of taking care of those patients, but can you move the meat? Can you get them in? Can you get them out? That was the time when reimbursements went down, when I actually started. So it was that extra push to let's make up for this money that we're losing. So that bothered me in a lot of respects because that just wasn't the way that I wanted to practice medicine. So I kind of went on a little bit of an exploration of, okay, well, where do I fit into this profession? What do I really want to do to bring my talents to the world? And I really explored a lot of different things, but I ultimately settled on really bringing health care to community. And so when I was doing my exploration, I would explore some natural health practices sometimes. And I learned about things like Ayurvedic medicine, things like fasting. And, not that I believe that any one thing is superior. I just believe in analyzing each treatment for the specific patient that you have to see what helps this person and what they need based on all the different things that could be going on in their life, mentally, physically, spiritually. And I just wasn't able to do that so well in medicine. And I started to understand that, okay, well, I can't do that so well because they're just focused on the money. And guess what? Things that have benefit like fasting, there's a lot of health benefits to fasting, but
And that's
they don't cost no money.
Right.
Exactly. That's free. And who's going to make money off of that? So
right.
I really had to kind of think about where I would go. So I eventually landed in cannabis, and I just was stuck here. I was hooked because I just realized that I could do everything that I wanted to do my whole career, because there was healthcare here. There was alternative, holistic, natural healthcare. It was a place where I could actually advocate for people. It was a place where I could be involved in things like criminal justice reform. I could make sure that my my community actually was able to overcome financial barriers and use those financial barriers. Using that financial benefit to actually break down other barriers. There was just culture involved in cannabis, fun. It was just like everything that I, wanted to do in terms of bringing healthcare to people, in terms of being creative, and in terms of lifting up the Black community. I could really do that in cannabis. So I found my home here. So
yeah, it was like it's a nice fit for you.
I know, she lit up.
Yeah,
exactly. So clearly you're very passionate about finding, the kind of like your niche, whatever, where you wanted to bring healthcare into, and you also kind of, brought in like the recreational part, but, where we can kind of meet in the middle, I guess. So tell me about like how this passion formed and like what is your mission for it?
Yeah, definitely. So my mission is mostly health and wealth through cannabis is what I try to do in everything that I do. And I'm, a person who wants to do healthcare in all communities and make sure that everybody thrives. But first, I have to start in my community because we have more problems than anybody. It's my people. So I want to make sure that we bring health and wealth to our community. So the different endeavors that I take part in all have to do with bringing health and wealth to the Black community, and then secondarily bringing health and health to everyone.
Okay. So you founded an organization called 40 Acres and a Dispensary. And I just love that title. I do.
Yeah.
So
you know what it means when you hear it, don't you?
It sure do. Reparations, what am I getting here? So, okay, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Okay, for everybody, 40 acres and a mule. We turned it into 40 acres and a dispensary. Yes.
Not
okay.
we turned it into. Not we turned it into.
I'm sorry, Dr. Kaya. Okay. So
I am my sister. My sister is me.
She definitely owned it at that moment.
So Dr. Kaya, tell us about your organization and what you're providing the community from your organization.
Yes, definitely. So I'm glad you guys pick up on what the name means. Our tagline is reparations through cannabis, because that's what we're trying to do with our that's what we're trying to do. So what we do is we provide education to the Black community so that we can understand how to get into the cannabis industry in a real way. And we can use that education to start finally building some generational wealth in our community. And with that generational wealth, we can start to break down some of these disparities and inequities that are around us, everywhere. Because we do know that, it takes money to get resources. It takes money to start having political power, to be able to have clean environments, to be able to get an education, to be able to have opportunities. So it's about being holistically healthy as a people. And when we talk about being holistically healthy, we need all those different things. We need to be able to live in environments where factories aren't polluting our air because they feel like we as Black people don't have the political power to fight against it. We need to, be able to have access to clean water, good food, healthy food, be able to afford that food, have access to medical care. There's all these different things that we need to be able to really be healthy people. And a lot of times that starts with us getting the financial well-being so that we can build that generational wealth.
For sure.
Okay, so you allude to that there is a lot to profit from, getting into the cannabis industry. So if what you're educating the community on, so is it more or less to start a business with a dispensary? Are you educating them to start a business with a farm? What are you educating them on? And through what platform, webinars and stuff like that. So specifically, what are you teaching them to do with this cannabis to be profitable?
Right, exactly. A lot of people, when they think about cannabis, they think that the only way to profit is through a dispensary.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to profit is through growing cannabis, which those are great ways to profit, but those are not the only ways. And those are usually the harder routes because we have a lot of laws and regulations that make it difficult. With it still being federally illegal, there's so many different challenges. So yes, we have to be within the supply chain, and we have to make sure that we have strong ownership in that area, but we also have to be involved with ancillary services. So the cannabis industry is a newly legal industry. It's growing, and they need the services that every other business need. They need a lot of people that can provide legal services, marketing services, accounting services. The list goes on. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do in this space. So it's about transferring our skills into this space and making sure that we have a strong foundation in cannabis knowledge to do that, though. We already have the skills in whatever areas that we're in, the skills, the talents, the professional backgrounds. We have different hobbies that we do that we can use within the cannabis space. But we just have to learn about cannabis and how cannabis functions so that we can be involved in that. For instance, with marketing, with cannabis, they need marketers just like any other business. But because it's federally illegal, there are challenges with marketing. You can't, because of FDA regulations, say certain things on your packaging about your product heals this or cures this. You have to say things like, oh, it's soothing, it's relaxing, things like that. You also have problems with marketing on social media. There's different social media platforms that will shut you down, that will limit what you say, that won't let you send out advertisements. And there aren't any commercials that you see that say, hey, come get your weed here.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of challenges. So marketing professionals that really understand those challenges, but say, okay, I have these alternatives and I have these solutions, and this is how you can work around that. And they bring that knowledge to the cannabis industry, and they go out and say, hey, for instance, okay, I know New York has just legalized cannabis, so I'm going to market my skills to all of these new businesses that are going to be opening up in New York. As I'm going to market myself as a cannabis marketer, you know, to those businesses. So, you know, we have to be able to form businesses like that and take some of that share of the market. So there's so many different, you know, possibilities.
And you had said something, cannabis knowledge. So I think we can roll it back for that person that has never tried cannabis, grew up with the stigma of marijuana, and nobody has to say if they've tried or they haven't tried marijuana tonight. Nobody has to share that. But for someone that may be more open-minded because they see someone like you, Dr. Kaya, ER physician, that is in support of it, what are like maybe one or two things that they should know about the benefits of cannabis?
About the benefits of cannabis medically, there are a ton of them. The reason being, there are over 50,000 varieties of cannabis. So it's not just one medication. Cannabis is a whole pharmacy worth of medications. So I mean, you can pretty much, you know, that's why we have dispensaries, because it's, you know, a whole class of medicines that we can fill that one building with. See, what it actually is the plant. From the plant, the flower portion of the plant has most of the natural chemicals that have the medical properties. So within the plant, the flower of the plant, you have little structures called terpenes, and they house a lot of the cannabinoids. Those are the natural chemical structures that have a lot of medical benefits. But you also have the flavonoids, which actually produce an aroma, but also have some medical benefits. I'm sorry, the terpenes. And then you also have flavonoids, which produce color. And there's some talk about how those have medical benefits as well, but that's not as well understood. But there's over 500 of these naturally occurring chemicals in the plant, and they can be in the plant in different percentages. So depending on which of those mixtures you have, in the plant and which percentages you have mixed in there, they can create all these different products. And with all of these different products, one may actually help with one condition, another may help with another condition, because we've seen things like in the lab, in scientific studies, we've seen that one particular strain variety chemobar actually helps kill colon cancer cells. But that same variety may not actually kill prostate cancer cells. And so we see some of the benefits of one actual composition over the other for one particular illness. So that plays out into one of the reasons why cannabis is so beneficial for so many different illnesses. So people sometimes, use it. Obviously, what we hear a lot of is pain relief and relief of nausea and anxiety, things like that. But we don't hear as much about things like helping to heal bones or helping when you have a stroke from that stroke becoming worse, because we know that when we have a stroke, there is a part of the brain that actually loses blood flow and dies out. And then there's an area around that actually is susceptible to dying if it doesn't get the proper blood flow that it needs. But cannabis actually has been able to decrease the death of those surrounding cells. So
Really?
it's better after stroke. So there's just so many different ways that it can benefit people that it's a long list.
I hadn't heard about that stroke stuff. That's pretty amazing.
It is.
Yep, definitely. And that's
So, I was going to ask, so if you're educating the community, are there certain people who would be able to attend? Is it for anyone and everyone? Is it just for healthcare professionals? Who are you targeting, or how is it structured if they want to attend?
Yeah, it's not just for healthcare professionals. No, it's for the Black community as a whole. And actually, what we do is we have basically 3 different services that we offer. One is our education, one is our resources, and the other our networking. So actually, the education we've rolled out, the resources we've started to provide, and the networking service is actually coming up very soon, our 40 Acres Tribe. But the services that we do offer, we have a few different methods in how we do that. One is providing educational courses or events online. And another is providing one-on-one coaching sessions where we meet one-on-one and talk about your skills, your interests, your hobbies, your background, and how you can actually apply those, try to help give you some creative ideas about businesses that you can form, careers that you could go into within the cannabis space, and resources about how that you could use to actually start that path and be successful down that path. And then we also are, like I said, building out a networking service. So those will be a networking platform and networking events that we offer. But when we talk about just the educational courses, we have what we call is a Cannabis Industry 101 webinar. And during that time, we actually talk about some of the basics of the cannabis industry. And we talk about a lot of the challenges that are present within the cannabis industry and how we can turn those challenges into our business and career opportunities to be able to build generational wealth. So anybody can come to that Cannabis Industry 101 class, because we are talking about the basics of the industry, and you need to have those basics regardless of what area you're going into. But then we also have the Cannabis Industry 102 courses, and during that we actually make those specific for different segments of the industry. So say we may have a cannabis industry healthcare or a cannabis industry retail course. And during the healthcare one, we bring in cannabis healthcare professionals to talk to you about exactly how you get started in that industry. You get to interact with them, ask the questions you need to ask about how to get started in that space. And the same thing for other segments.
Wow, that is a lot of information. You got an app so I can just get on to be able to connect with your resources and everything. I think that's just awesome what you put together and you're offering for the community. A lot of education, a lot of stuff we don't know about. And when you talk about cannabis in the Black community, it has not ever had the best reputation. So trying to change the
Gateway
narrative
drug. That's what they
with
used to
our
say.
relationship with this this
It's
thing,
really
right?
important.
How do we change that? And so if we can benefit from it, um, because there's so many stigmas, around us and weed. So, I mean, I just like how you're passionate about this and have turned this into a whole organization that can really aid with being profitable off of it in the right way. So, what I wanted to ask was if we were to join, the webinars, then what is it going to, as far as the resources, say we wanted to open a dispensary.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing first, we'd have to take the 101 course. And then we would go to, is it like a stepping stone? Then we would go to the 102 where you connect with the resource. And then do you then navigate, if someone needs funding to do this or that? Is it really the whole, step-by-step course to now you have the end goal or so?
So what I do is, if it comes to you actually wanting to start a dispensary, what I do is I kind of start you out. So with that Cannabis Industry 101 course, I will teach you about, like I said, the backgrounds of the industry, some of the challenges of the industry. And then, yes, you can definitely come to one of our 102 sessions where we talk where we talk specifically about retail and cannabis. But I also link you up with organizations that will benefit you, people that will benefit you. So say, for instance, you wanted to open up a cannabis retail facility or dispensary in Michigan. They don't call them dispensaries in Michigan, but that's just semantics.
Sure.
But I would link you to an organization like Black Cannabis Access or the Urban Design Center. And those are different organizations who actually work with you step by step on how you apply for your social equity benefits. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with what social equity means, but that's basically when you apply as someone who is a minority or someone who falls below a certain income level or someone from a certain zip code. Or someone who actually had criminal charges from cannabis, or their family member did. In different states, there are different rules and qualifying factors that would help you to be able to qualify for that, to get some discounts in your licensing fees and things of that sort. Sometimes it allows you to start business earlier, things of that sort. A lot of these social equity programs have not been as effective as they should be by a long shot, but those are some benefits. So the organizations like Black Cannabis Access walk you through the steps of doing that. They walk you through the steps of applying for your Michigan license. And then if you go into their class, they actually walk you through the steps of being able to start your business. So they
really are holding your hand through this whole process.
Yeah. And I mean, you know what it's about? I mean, one, yes, we do need to get the education, and it's, handheld holding is nice, but what we need as a Black community really is collaboration. And that's the big, strong thing that comes out of these organizations. And one of the big, strong things that we're working on very intently with this networking service that we're bringing out is that we have to build businesses together. We have to build businesses that work together, that share resources, that share attorneys, that, have are able to actually work together in a strong way. Because essentially you need to form a collective of Black-owned small businesses that function like a large business, so that we can compete with these businesses that are backed by billionaires. Because I mean, yes, we have other ways that we can compete because we're innovative, we're creative. We come up with things that not everybody comes up with. So we have other ways to compete as well, but we also need to be able to compete with the level of finances that are out there, with people who can actually market everywhere, who can,
Absolutely.
lobby legislators and, do all these.
Have you said legislators?
Yeah, because I see that we see your passion, and there's a little bit of talk that I wanted to hear about the equitable. Let me make sure I get it right now. The fight for equitable cannabis legislation.
Yes.
Is that kind of what you were speaking about, or is that another level?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into equitable cannabis legislation. I mean, actually just wrote a blog recently about New York and their legalization bill, because it was pretty much the most equitable one that we've seen so far. Because what happens is a lot of states will actually legalize cannabis, but they don't do what they claim they're going to do, which is right the wrongs of the war on drugs.
Right.
Because we know that we were actually given longer sentences. We were locked up at a much greater rate.
Alarming rate, yes.
Yeah, than other communities, like the ACLU says 4 times the rate as white people, and in New York they actually incarcerated Black people at 8 times the rates of white people for low-level cannabis charges. So that has to be corrected. I mean, that caused a lot of problems to our community. It wasn't that you just got locked up, but you got locked up, and while you were locked up, I mean, you got those charges that have a snowball effect, right?
Right.
Even if you were locked up for a few days, you might have lost your job. You might have lost custody of your kids. You might have lost so much money from losing your job that now you lost your house. And if you were locked up for a longer period of time, you might have caught something while you were incarcerated because you were in close quarters. So you were sick. And then maybe you brought that illness home to your family and exposed the rest of, our community to that, illness. And, maybe you suffered from some psychological problem because you were incarcerated. Maybe you don't qualify for Medicaid when you get out, as a Black man because, not having kids. You may not, qualify during in some states. So I mean, there's just a lot of snowball effects of problems. Like you get out, you still can't get a job. You're in a homeless shelter. I mean, all of these different problems are on our back as a community.
Absolutely.
So we need legislation that does something to correct that, and that just doesn't allow all these businesses to start up and leave us out of the financial structure. I mean, we're only 1% of the ownership of cannabis businesses.
Wow.
That's not okay.
But we suffer the most.
Exactly. We suffered more than others, and we contributed a lot to the cannabis industry. I mean, we actually worked on hemp farms in America. We made a lot of people rich off of that. I mean, we actually created the water pipe for cannabis consumption back in sub-Saharan Africa. I mean, we popularized a lot of cannabis brands through our culture. I mean, we've done a lot for this industry, and then we've suffered more than other people because of the prohibition of cannabis. So it's not okay that this industry starts up.
Not okay.
Exactly.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not okay.
No. So, I mean, it's important that we work towards legislation that ensures that it's not just a few licenses in the state given to large multi-site operators that are backed by billionaires that don't look like us. We have to get uncapped licenses, a lot of people to be able to get into the market. We have to do things where records are expunged and, those need to be things like automatic expungements, which people claim are expensive, but it needs to happen because we know that expungement is not very effective if, people don't know that it's there, if people have to pay an attorney to actually get it done. I mean, there's so much to making sure that legislation is equitable. There's a lot of different pieces, but it's something we have to work for.
Yeah. So you're a leading
about those titles either.
Yes.
Those titles of some of those bills sound good, but when you look at what they actually say, it's not always for us. So we have to do a lot of work towards that.
Right.
And so much.
Well, Dr. Kaya.
Yeah. And then for to appreciate someone who becomes that advocate in that field, we're so glad to have you to represent our community. So with all of that you are doing, what in the world are you doing for yourself? Because you're doing so much for us. So tell us about, some of your self-care and your self-care regimens.
Well, one, I just want to say I appreciate the people who are in this fight, who are doing like a lot of things to support me, who came before me doing this. So, I just want to give props to them and appreciate, the work that they do, because they are amazing. And so, trying to, look like them and do like them. So, but yeah, thank you. I definitely believe in, self-care and taking care of yourself. That's a must, because eventually you will wear out. I mean, I must say that I haven't been doing as great of a job as I should be since COVID happened, because it's just turned life upside down. Surely. But I mean, if you don't take care of yourself, eventually you will break down. I do remember a time with myself where I actually just had a lot going on. Like I had a family member who was just diagnosed with a mental health condition, came to live with me and dealing with all of that. And then another family member that had a physical medical condition, dealing with that, and another family member that was having a legal issue, all at the same time. And I was the one who had to take care of the
everything.
That's a lot.
Issue, right? So I was like worn out. So I really had to go take care of me. So I went away for a minute because I love traveling. Traveling is part of my self-care. I like to go to different parts of the world and learn about different cultures. But, sometimes you can go a little close to where you live and still have some great experiences. So I did that. I went to San Antonio, which is just a few hours away from me. And I went to the spa we were talking about earlier. And I actually...
the reflexology. The foot
yeah. Got a little reflexology. Yeah. Shout out to Melissa. Yeah, she did me right. She took care of me. But
as Dr. Sylvia said, the feet massage the whole body.
Hey. But yeah, that was amazing. I mean, it was just, I just fed myself positivity that whole trip. During those few days, I would read positive books, read a little scripture, playing positive music. I had my little shirts on with positive messages. Found me a Black-owned florist and sent me some flowers. Sat by the pool, went to the spa. Had me a good
time. Absolutely,
dozen roses.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta.
A dozen roses does it for you, Dr. Sylvia.
Sounds like it.
Well, now I know.
I like all kinds of flowers.
Oh my goodness!
Was that a memory there? Was that a memory? That was.
No, I
don't know. I want to see that smile again.
Anyway.
So look, Dr. Kaya, you were talking about the pandemic. How did that affect the industry? Was it difficult during the pandemic last year with your organization, or did people have more time on their hands?
Yeah, you know what? The pandemic was hard for everybody, but it brought a lot of good to the cannabis industry. Actually, we started 40 Acres and A Dispensary during the pandemic. So yeah, I think we're able to get the attention of some people who maybe would have been, out and about and busy. So that was But in general, with the cannabis industry, you guys probably heard about the cannabis businesses being deemed as essential. During the pandemic, they were
help with depression, huh?
Hey, I mean, it's
like the liquor stores too. Well, I don't want to equate
Well,
them,
yeah,
but I'm sorry, my bad.
With the cannabis.
Right,
But
right.
like the grocery stores,
Cannabis.
like the grocery stores.
Yeah, right. Like the
There you
grocery
go.
stores and the
Cannabis was
pharmacies.
essential last
Yes,
year.
in the pharmacies. My bad.
It's
So,
all good.
Dr.
It's all
Kaya,
good.
you are shining on every front, helping the layperson learn more about the cannabis industry, helping healthcare professionals, because a lot of schools back when we were in school weren't teaching about the cannabinoid pathways and all that and how it works in the body. So we appreciate that and how you're serving for equitable cannabis legislation and the expungements. But what is next for Dr. Kaya and 40 Acres and a dispensary?
Yes. Well, for Dr. Kaya, I mean, I wind up being involved in a lot, like with Indica PhD, what we talked about a little bit earlier, with making sure that we break down stigma. We do that with our programming, and that's open to the Black community, just free events that people can come to. And I think the way to break down stigma is, one, to actually educate people on the history of cannabis, why it became illegal in the first place, and how we were lied to about the plant for so long, and letting people know the truth and letting people know the science behind the plant, so that we can start using it as health. And, you know, I work with organizations like ACAM to actually teach BIPOC professionals to learn more about, to help them learn more about the plant, to help them become advocates in the industry, to help them become better servants of their communities by understanding the medicine that can be so beneficial for them, to help promote actual career opportunities for them. So I definitely would encourage you guys to check out Indica PhD and ACAM, indicaphd.com and acmed.org. So those are great organizations that I'm a part of, you know, and then other organizations that I try to be active in, making sure that we take on this fight, because it's not just one thing that has to be done in this industry. You have to tackle so many different things. So I'm gonna continue to tackle, you know, what needs to be tackled to make sure that we as Black people advance through the cannabis industry. And what's next for 40 Acres and a Dispensary? I mean, it would be nice if in a few years we didn't need 40 acres in a dispensary, because, you know, we're getting wealth out of this industry. We were, you know, really doing what needed to happen.
It served its purpose, and now everybody's benefiting.
Yeah, you know, that would be nice, you know, but, you know, we do know that change is slow, progress is slow. We are fighting to make sure that it goes as quickly, you know, as possible, you know, and I do see 40 Acres and the Dispensary continuing beyond a few years from now. We just, I think, will morph into what is necessary for the time. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it. So where can our friends connect with you? I mean, you mentioned a lot of letters and a lot of
take
websites.
The 101 and the 102 and
so
the
what's first base? Where should they go first to connect with Dr. Kaya?
Yes, to connect with me personally, I'm at Dr. Kaya MD, DrKaya MD on Instagram, and Dr. Kaya on LinkedIn. For 40 Acres and a Dispensary, you can catch us at 40acresandadispensary.com. So that's 40 and a dispensary. You know, dispensary is one of those words that's crazy to spell. So, you know.
It's like pharmacist. It's like pharmacist. A lot of people misspell pharmacist.
Yes, yeah.
Do they?
And don't forget, Kaya means cannabis. She's like Dr. Cannabis. She's the, you know.
Yeah.
You know, there's a song that keeps playing in my head throughout this whole interview.
Yeah, that Bob Marley, huh?
You hear it? Okay. That's the one, Dr. Sylvia, you were thinking of?
I
didn't think so. She wasn't that deep, Dr. Kaya.
Sylvia's not that cool.
So which one were you thinking about, Sylvia? I'd like to know.
It doesn't need to be mentioned.
Probably something she made up in her head.
I think it's gonna be funny. I really would like to know.
That's why I want to know.
There's a rapper named Kaya.
Bye, Sylvia. About to be the end of the show.
My neck and my
I'm gonna
back.
look them up,
Talking
Sylvia.
about.
I'm gonna look them up, Dr. Sylvia. I like to know.
Dr. Kaya, I know that you know what Kaya she's talking about. My neck, my back.
Oh,
Yeah, that Kaya. I
Or
know.
we could just say Bob Marley. Bob Marley.
Bye. I like the
Yeah.
Bob Marley song better.
For
you took us back with that one. You
for
took us back.
all for all intents and purposes, we're gonna go with Dr. Kaya's answer.
Right.
You made me say, I'm not gonna lie to the friends. Leah was like, I want to know.
That
Well, I would
song
like
is
to
Anyway.
gonna
say
be in
shout
my
out
head.
to all the
You should
elders
have
that
said we're gonna keep that
listen.
offline.
That song is gonna be in my head now.
I think
That's-
Dr.
it's
Kaya,
been
I
in
think
mine.
our line sister, Dr. NECA, has tagged every single one of our line sisters.
Oh, hey, Dr. Netta, pull up.
He's been working tonight.
And
He's been working
none other than
tonight.
our big sister, Dr. Jarrett, is listening tonight on
Dr.
the show.
We
Jared.
shouted her out
We did
earlier.
a shout out earlier to you, Dr. Jarrett, for buying us all those coffees you want us to drink and stay up all night. And we really appreciate the support. So
And
just
check
wanted
out
to
her.
say-
Alpha. Hey, ladies.
but this has been great.
Y'all be sure to check out Dr. Jarrett's episode early 2020. So it was a great episode and a great time. We learned a lot and had fun like we did with you tonight, Dr. Kaya. So we will put all this information in the show notes. If you want to connect with Dr. Kaya, 40 Acres and A Dispensary.com. And if you want to keep in touch with your favorite pharmacist, go to 3friendstalk.com. Or if you want to support the show, buy me a coffee /3 friends talk. And thanks for tuning in tonight.
And
Bye,
don't
friends.
forget to watch us tomorrow night on Freely TV on Thursday night, 10 p.m. on channel 109. And you can see us again, channel 109, channel 109, because it's channel 109.
Oh, do you like that
Thursday
song?
nights. Yes,
Dr.
my
Kaya?
baby.
Do I like that song?
Yes.
She's my line sister.
It
She's
was
my-
amazing.
Oh, shut this down. Time to go.
Until next Wednesday.
Yeah,
Bye,
go that
friends.
hateration. Bye, friends.